But yeah, I'm just trying to think through. I mean, obviously it looks different, just looking at it. Just looking at on-track photos, the thing's not sealed off to the ground quite like what we've seen with the side skirts and the front splitter and things like that. Driving wise, I haven't really been around people a ton. I got behind William just for a few laps there today, and he pulled off kind of just a few laps into that run. So I don't want to speak to that yet, but I haven't, because I haven't done it. But there's a lot of question marks in my mind still kind of with it, and like I was saying a few minutes ago, to me it's about, where is that line, where is that limit, where is the edge of what you can lean on, especially at these 1.5 mile tracks. And you gotta, once you find that edge, how easy is it to live there? Can you live there for an entire run, or can you not? Is this car lacking that much side force where you can't live in that happy zone of a yaw moment to run an entire fuel run or not? So just a lot of fine detail questions that most people probably don't understand, but it's I think we're too early into it, and right now I think it's more about just fundamental things. How do we work on the car? How do we be prepared to go and have a practice session and it goes smoothly, and make the right changes and be timely with our adjustments and all those things, and just be prepared for these first handful of races, I think, is priority number one. And that natural feel of what you're looking for will hopefully come, in due time. Yeah, I think getting outside your comfort zone is huge, and I feel like that's what I've really tried hard to challenge myself in doing, the past year or so. And all those, everything you get in is a little different, and everything you get in, it has a little different sweet spot of that perfect balance, I guess, and kind of what you're trying to achieve, on asphalt or dirt, I feel like. But, at some point, in the process of doing all those things, it really does kind of come back to some simplicity, and typically wherever you're the most uncomfortable is where you're the most vulnerable, and that typically transitions across all cars. Whatever part of the corner that you're most uncomfortable in is probably the area you need to work on the most, because like I said a minute ago, I feel like the people who are the most comfortable in areas on track that are typically uncomfortable are going to go fast, and that's where they're going to make time on you, and that's how they're going to make passes and do all those things. So I think just driving these different cars just helps you understand those uncomfortable positions, and how you can drive through them, or how you can challenge yourself to get better and deal with them better. So I feel like that's been the biggest thing for me, is just identifying some of that stuff and just trying to get more comfortable in those spots.
So you think you would be as comfortable adjusting to this new car if you hadn't gone through all that?
I don't, kind of hard to say, because I don't feel like I've adjusted to it. I don't know that my 60 laps or whatever I run today qualifies as having it all figured out. So but I would like to think all that stuff helps. As you get into something new, you're immediately faced with something you haven't seen before, been faced with that already, some today, just like I was last year at Daytona in that DPI car, and just like I was when I went and raced at the Chili Bowl, or wherever. When you're faced with new challenges, it's good for you. It might not be fun in the moment. You might struggle and be frustrated, but it's good for you to recognize those things and then be able to relate something back to it, maybe later on down the road. So, this sport is, we're fighting for just nothing, worth of time. And any little bit you pick up along the way, anything you drive, could potentially apply down the road, and I think that's important to remember as time goes on. But I've enjoyed the diversity of trying to do different things, and I do feel like it's been helpful to me. Yeah, I think just what I was mentioning a second ago, just about right now for him and all of our crew members, literally it's about, where do we want tools to be in the toolbox? What tools do we need to take to the racetrack what change is timely, what change takes a long time. You know, these things are kind of hard to work on, to be honest with you. With just me watching, kind of sitting there from afar today, I'm like, man, you know, there's a bunch of steps and doing some of this stuff. So I think it's just about learning the process and getting all that stuff dialed in right now, because you know, you're much better off learning that right now and realizing, hey, we didn't have this wrench, or we didn't have this part, or we didn't have this piece, and we needed it, rather than halfway through practice at Daytona or you know, wherever we go after that. But yeah, I think it'll be good. It's a good opportunity to just kind of get in the swing of a practice and changes and what you know, what it's going to take to go smoothly.
You know, 3, 4, 5 cars running around at one time to see what they do in the dirty air, or you still have other baby steps to make before you get there?
Yeah, I mean, I can go either way on that. You know, I feel like it would be good to learn and kind of see. I feel like we kind of know what it's going to be. I mean, unless we defy physics, the guy out front is going to have an advantage. So if somebody figures out how to defy physics and aerodynamics, please let me know. I'd love to meet you. But until somebody figures that out, the person in front is always going to have an advantage. And I don't think it matters how many aero ducts and parts and pieces we put on these things. It's not ever going to give the guy in second an advantage over the guy out front. So I think we kind of know what to expect. You know, the car's not going to drive good when you get behind somebody, and whatever area of the corner you're most vulnerable in, it's going to be more uncomfortable than it was when you were by yourself. And that's typically the case most everywhere we go, in anything I've ever driven. So I don't expect that to be much different. The other piece of that is how many of these things do we want to tear up before we get to Daytona, too, because I don't think everybody has just an abundance of these cars and or parts sitting around. So we need to weigh out what's important right now, because you know, Daytona is a long week, right, with the duels and how all that works, and we can go tear up a bunch of stuff down there and be in a world of hurt before we even get started. So we need to be smart about that too.
And I just have one follow-up. When you go to a Braves game and buy a hat, I mean, what is a Braves game like for Chase Elliott? I mean, are you sequestered? Are you in, you know, section 185 and row 58? I mean, what is that like for you? Because are you recognized at a ball game like that?
Occasionally, but not a ton. I mean, especially the World Series. You know, I could go to a regular season game and I feel like people were more kind of casual, you know, more conversation going on. Like when the World Series was going on, and people were dialed into the game, which was really cool to see. And it was really interesting to see the difference in a regular season game versus a World Series game like that. I've never been to one. But yeah, it's super casual. I sat in I don't remember the section number, but just the regular section, and enjoyed you know, their 3 home games and had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, it was really neat, great experience, and hopefully watch them do it again one day.